All new Pacific Mornings with Will on 531 PI.
It is 25 minutes past 8 o'clock. You're listening to Pacific Mornings on 531 PI. I'm William Terite. It's great to have your company this Wednesday. Now, following on from an interview that we conducted yesterday with Tongan community leader Pakilau Manasi-Lua on the naming of Tonga's National Rugby League team. Now, is it MMT or is it Tonga XIII? Joining me now to discuss this is obviously, it's a heated conversation, but joining me now to discuss this and much more is TNRL Secretary William Edwards. Good morning to you. Thank you very much for your time.
Morning, William.
Where do we start, really? Because ultimately, it's caused a lot of stir yesterday from the Tongan community, particularly when it comes to the naming of the team. I just want to get your thoughts first. Where are we at with the naming?
Well, the name Ma'a Tonga and MMT has been used and continues to be used by the national team. It was used in the 2022 World Cup. It's there, it's apparent on their logo. And it was there used in England last year, and the broadcasters and that used it. The government asked us, the Prime Minister in 2022 asked us whether they could use it in the World Cup in 2022, and we said, sure, Prime Minister, you asked, and we're quite happy to have the name associated with the team, but it was refused. It wasn't us that refused the name to be used. It was the current regime, and it continues to be the current regime because they don't want to have this association with TNRL. Unfortunately, TNRL was the one that registered it, started it, and it began with TNRL as Ma'a Tonga. So I'm unsure as to why Pakilau and others comment on matters where they go nothing about. He wasn't there in 1988 when it was registered in Tonga. 86, the first team was compiled together by George Mann, Don Mann, Shona Fifita from St George Dragons, Tiki Ruava, who played for the Kiwis, Shonko, Mark Royal, a whole lot of them continued to serve the country and play for the country under the banner of Ma'a Tonga. International body said in 1986, the rules make it quite clear, in order for you to play test matches, you must have a domestic competition in Tonga. So in 88, they registered the competition in Tonga. 5 clubs, foundation members started it in Tonga. Kolomoa Warriors was one, Kolomoa was another, Homa Tigers was another, Hihifo, and Hateho. They were the foundation clubs. And they still are there today. And they're the ones who have been, by our constitution, electing members to the board.
Right.
Now, the current constitution underneath this new regime, it gives the powers to the International Rugby League to select who represents Tonga's interests on the board. They've taken it away from the stakeholders and the people who started the league. So, at the end of the day, the name has always been associated with the original founding members. And the founding members have not denied the right to use it. But unfortunately, those who are in power now and those who seek to use it want the full financial benefits of it. Now, one may ask the question, when they expelled TNRL in 2019, what financial benefit has come back to Tonga since then? None.
Yeah.
All the finances, all the money, all of it's controlled from offshore. 2022, the financial statement submitted to the government for the use of their 1.8 million that the government gave for the World Cup. Not one single cent came back to Tonga. This year, an under-16s team that went to Australia asked the government, and government granted $45,000 for those 2 teams, under-16 women's and boys and girls team, to go to Australia, paid for by the government. What benefit do the people in Tonga get from the International Rugby League's control over the Tonga Rugby League 13? None. And so why are they seeking to have the benefit financially out of our logo? If it stays with our people, fine, we don't have an issue with it. But when they make financial benefits out of our name, and it doesn't come back to the players and doesn't come back to the country, that's where we take an issue.
Right.
And the 2022 World Cup finances clearly show the benefits did not come back to the players. The players have no knowledge of what's really going on. And yet the players, the country, and everyone's right behind the players. We have a duty as administrators to make sure that we are able to fund our kids in Tonga,
Yeah.
fund our competitions in Tonga, and provide opportunities in Tonga with our affiliate in New Zealand, the Hatula, our Queensland affiliate, Aotearoa, Tonga, and our Sydney affiliates. Our whole purpose is driven by our constitution to ensure that we provide benefits and opportunities for our youth, our grade sides. And we're funding that.
Yes.
Now, you're seeing packed stadiums to go and support our national team, which is the most beautiful thing you'll see. But Pakilau and them have never asked the question, where's the finance and the money going? Because it's not coming back to Tonga.
Yeah. Look, with...
And that's where the divides come. Since 2019, they've moved this aside. They've alleged all these wrongdoings. Yet when Tonga Rugby League had any issue before, they took it before the courts, and independently the courts found where fault was. These guys did not even give us a chance to go to court to go and find out these things. They did not. They say they went to the Court of Arbitration. We're talking about finances. They said that there was misuse of finances. Where?
Yeah. Look, with all of that in mind then, and I'm not trying to oversimplify things, but, you know, where does the blame solely lie here? Because it is incredibly messy and, you know, evident just yesterday by some pretty bold accusations.
Well, again, you're taking interviews with a bloke that has no knowledge of the operations of rugby league in Tonga. Ask him the question. Put it on him fairly. Have you ever been an administrator in Tonga? No. Have you seen any financial accounts in Tonga? No. Have you ever participated in any competitions in Tonga? No. You've got a citizen there sitting in New Zealand, opening his mouth about what he thinks he knows, representation of Tongans in New Zealand and the community in Tonga, in New Zealand, and he's commenting about things in Tonga he knows nothing about. He has not seen the correspondence. I gave the correspondence from the Prime Minister back in 2020 to your entity, and it clearly shows the Prime Minister and the government stance. Pakilau had no idea what was going on. He's one of those that assumes to know, but he's got no idea what's going on. And quite frankly, I'm surprised that someone would comment brazenly about things he knows nothing about. Because the end of the day is, you look at all the blokes that are signing petitions, the blokes that are complaining, and the blokes that are telling us to make a stand. It's not us personally or individually. We have a duty under our constitution to represent the interests of our members, which include our New Zealand affiliate, our Queensland affiliate, our Sydney affiliate with Milton Dimmick and co, and our clubs here. We have our hands tied. We cannot take on personal vendettas or personal agendas without the support of our members. And our members have made it quite clear that they have disagreed with the way that the International Rugby League has acted throughout. They make it quite clear that they disagree with the way that they are going to pick our national side and appoint directors that pick our national side. And they make it quite clear that they do not like the fact that the International Rugby League determines or has a say or influence on who our members of our governing body should be. They should be an independent body governing the sport as a whole for the best interests of the international game, not interfering in Tonga and telling Tonga how it should run in terms of its destiny.
Yeah. So look, where to...
And we have had this. We have the support of our government. They have not.
Yeah. Where to from here, though? I mean, where to from here, ultimately?
Well, the government will have to ultimately step in and ask everyone to sit down and work out a plan moving forward so that it's for the benefit of the whole of the sport. At the moment, the national side is outstanding in its way it plays, the way it performs, but all of this going on the side, William, it's not affecting the way the players are playing. It's not affecting the way that the people support its national team. It is not affecting the way our team stands up on the international stage. It's their own beliefs about how they want to represent their people, how they want to represent their country, which is outstanding.
Yeah.
You can't take it away from them. But at the end of the day, is we have a duty to the sport here in Tonga. We have a duty to our kids that's growing up. We have a duty to the game itself to make sure that through the under 15s, 16s, 17s competitions we have, the 18s, that we are finding the next talent that's going to fill those shoes later on in life.
Certainly.
At the moment, we're struggling. For instance, one of our club sides here, Whakawhau, that played in the weekend, senior men's, only 3 players had played the sport before. So we've got a lot of work to do cut out here to go and fund competitions to make sure that we actually grow the game amongst our youth. And that's with the grade sides, so that when we do have senior men's competitions, that we do have guys who know what they're doing and how they're playing. We just do not have the resources, the funds and finances. And government helps out. Government helped us out in this latest tournament of $20,000. And we have to report to them at the end of that tournament how the money's spent. We have to pay $300 for a field use on a Saturday. Things like that. So it's not because these things are totally distinct from how Pakilau and then perceive the issue is and so forth. The national team is still playing, William. The national team is still punching well above its weight. The national team is outstanding in its way it performs and way it delivers to its people, and the people are right behind it. But that's not, what we're doing is not affecting the way the team is playing. And then
Sure.
what we're asking for is have some accountability in terms of the finances. Because like yourself, like everyone else, what financial benefit comes back to Tonga when you see packed stadiums and the national team's playing it? And the simple answer is none. Do we complain about it? No. Now, do we hand over the MMT logo to those same people to make financial benefits, which have been doing in the past? We signed the agreement with Dynasty 2019. Financial benefit come back to Tonga? None. Using our name. 2022, they used our name at the World Cup. Financial benefits for using our name? None.
Yeah.
So, why is Pakilau opening his mouth about things he knows nothing about? And it's a typical manner and form he undertakes and comments. Was it for his votes, campaigning? What is it? Wasn't he explaining himself as to what he knows and what knowledge, first-hand knowledge he has about administration and rugby league in the last 20 years? None. All those who come back to Tonga, who've actually played sport in New Zealand and Australia, end up embracing the sport. We coach locally, we end up refereeing locally, we end up being administrators locally, and it's all voluntarily done. There is no money here to pay salaries.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I will just say this, I won't let this be a forum where we're particularly targeting one person. To the credit of Pakilau yesterday, it was a more generalised statement. So just for the right of reply for him, I will say I don't want to get down that narrow view of just particularly hitting him. And finally, though, with all of that in mind, let's just end on a high note in terms of, like you say, the team is doing incredibly well. And, hoping for that success to continue, no doubt, right?
Well, absolutely. I mean, you've got to give it to these kids. Well, I shouldn't say kids, these grown men, these behemoths, these warriors. They've just stepped up and, they manhandled and bullied New Zealand in the weekend. They left it a bit close, but they deserved that. For me, they were deserving of their win. Champions of their cause. And it's a beautiful thing because it tells International Rugby League that there's more than one team out there. There's more than two teams. It's not a two-horse race or three-horse race between England, Australia and New Zealand. Yeah. There's talent out there that's way beyond those countries, and they haven't developed the other nations as well. So, for them to give Tonga that platform and perform the way they did, we've known for years that these kids have got so much talent. And to be given that chance and opportunity to showcase it is just beautiful. But to have our people right behind them, beautiful.
Certainly. Hey, thank you very much for your time. That is TNRL Secretary William Edwards. You have a good rest of your day. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you, William.
You're listening to